Chapter 171, Wife Went Out Again. Amusement Park. Yue Xia Huo handed a drink to Su Ro, who turned to look at her children playing happily and innocently in the amusement pool. Sister Xiao, why haven't you come out to play lately? He really misses you. Yue Xia Huo said directly. That was the reason she sought out Su Ro. Su Ro replied, I'm pregnant now, can't engage in such activities. Besides, my husband is talking about divorce. He's investigating quickly, but he still lacks solid evidence, otherwise, we would have divorced already. Yue Xia Huo exclaimed, Divorce? Well, just get divorced. Your husband doesn't seem to have much going for him besides being handsome. He looks down on your husband, and the thought of you being with him every day pains him. If you divorce, he'll be happy. Su Ro's eyes softened but conflicted as she said, My husband is not that bad. You don't understand what divorce means to me. Have you severed ties with your new man? Is he not jealous? He's always jealous. The other day, I got punished by him all night, sitting on the keyboard, very uncomfortable. Su Ro smirked, serves you right. Xiao, come out tonight. Even if you don't play, just watch on the side. He said if I can't bring you, I'll be in trouble. Let's talk about it tonight. Su Ro felt a bit tempted, she wanted to see that person too. That's settled then. If you don't come, I'm doomed. Not giving Su Ro a chance to refuse, Yue Xia Huo left first. Su Ro sat there lost in thought, pondering how to go out tonight. She needed to leave the child with Fang Hao, but he hadn't returned. If he was at home, she wouldn't be able to go out, a real dilemma. Leaving the child with Ruili seemed to be the only option. Hospital. Fang Hao didn't let Zhu Yulian take consultations, and even the other two attending physicians on the afternoon shift were stopped by Lu Yu because they were also leaving the gynecology department with Li Xiaoxi. So, the patient load of these three doctors shifted to Fang Hao's first clinic. Although Fang Hao was not specialized in gynecology and hadn't studied it extensively in the hospital, he had a good understanding of traditional Chinese medicine theory and had read many gynecology books. Plus, without encountering any difficult cases, his clinic went smoothly. In 4 hours that afternoon, he saw over 100 patients, averaging 1 or 2 minutes per patient. He had a quick meal in the hospital canteen and then went to find Lu Jing. After discovering there was no acupuncture that day and thinking of bringing some clean clothes, he decided to go home for a while. At home, he heard the children playing next door. His wife's car wasn't in the driveway. Did she leave the child with the neighbors? Suddenly, he remembered something. Did his wife go to accompany her lover? He checked on Tian and Jia Jia. From Ruili's mouth, he learned that his wife had gone to work overtime. He smirked, carrying Tian and Jia Jia, left the house, called a taxi at the entrance, and went to Su Ro's company. Director Su is not here, the security guard informed Fang Hao. Fang Hao left with the children, walking on the road. He asked, Tian, when mommy goes to be with the new daddy, do you want to stay with daddy or mommy? Jia Jia chimed in, I don't want a new daddy, I want you, daddy. Tian, your new daddy is also your real daddy. He's the one you should call daddy. No, I want you, daddy. Tian asked, Daddy, is the new daddy good at cooking? Just get lost. Fang Hao carried Jia Jia, walking ahead. Jia Jia was on Fang Hao's shoulder, bidding farewell to Tian, saying, Go find your new daddy, we don't need you anymore. Tian hurriedly ran up, grabbed Fang Hao's hand, and said, Daddy, you also hug me. Jia Jia said, You see, if you don't want a new daddy and want daddy, daddy will hug you. Daddy, I don't want a new daddy, I want you, daddy. Tian quickly added. Although he didn't understand the difference between daddy and a new daddy, he could tell that his daddy didn't like the new daddy, so he had to choose one. After walking for more than 10 minutes, Fang Hao reached an intersection. He waited for a while before finally catching a taxi and then headed home. At home, Su Ro had not returned yet. Fang Hao had the children take a bath and go to bed while he smoked and drafted a divorce agreement. For a wife full of lies, he felt no remorse. He went to pack some clothes and put them in a large suitcase. Around 10 o'clock, Su Ro finally came back, surprised to see Fang Hao at home. Husband, why are you back? Came back to get some things. Did you go to work overtime? Yes. I worked for an hour at the company. What were you busy with? Handling an account for a client. Husband, why are you asking this? Su Ro noticed Fang Hao knocking on the table, where a divorce agreement lay. She glanced at it, realizing it was a divorce agreement. Her pupils contracted, and she said, You signed it? Do you really want to divorce me? Fang Hao said, What's so surprising about it? Didn't I tell you earlier? You seem so shocked and unexpected. That shouldn't be the case. The house, the car, the savings, all yours. One child for each of us, Tian with me, Jia with you. Sign it, and we can part ways amicably. Su Rou suddenly erupted, Fang Hao, are you even a man? I'm carrying your child, and you want a divorce? Are you a man? I just worked overtime, toiled to earn money. What do I want? Just hoping for a better life for us? Fang Hao remained unaffected by his wife's outburst. He looked at her coldly and said, What else do you want to say? Continue. Su Rou continued, Fang Hao, I know you've been promoted at the hospital, becoming the deputy director of the gynecology department. Your status has risen, and you think you can get rid of me. Let me tell you, you can stay at the hospital because of my parents' connections. Otherwise, do you really think you could stay there? Fang Hao sighed, saying, Finally said it. Good. Anything else? Have I repaid my debts to you? Let's settle everything. Su Rou said, Everything you have now is given by me. Without me, you have nothing. You don't have the right to ask for a divorce. If anyone wants a divorce, it should be me. Fang Hao bitterly smiled, saying, Anything else? Su Rou said, Once we divorce, Tian will still be my child, and I won't let you see them again. In the future, you won't even catch a glimpse of them. Fang Hao remained calm, perhaps a heart deadened by grief. He now saw another side of Su Rou, domineering, arrogant, and high and mighty. But he felt he owed her nothing. He said, I've left with nothing, indicating I don't want to settle our issues in court. Otherwise, we would have to tear off the pretense. I know your Su family has influence, but Jiangdong City doesn't bow to your Su family. When it comes to facing the court, the one embarrassing themselves will be you. Su Rou sneered, I embarrass myself? What do you have that can embarrass me? True, I've been cuckolded, and I'm the one embarrassed. You, on the other hand, are in the limelight. Fang Hao smiled bitterly, we just went to your company with Tian and Jia. You weren't there working overtime, you went to be with that man. Since that's the case, is it so difficult for you to sign a piece of paper? You? Su Rou, hearing that Fang Hao brought the children to her company, was instantly petrified. Chapter 172, Threatening with Death? Useless. Su Rou, hearing that Fang Hao brought the children to her company, was surprised, and her previous outburst instantly dissipated. You don't believe it? Well, if I were you, I wouldn't believe it either. If it sounds too coincidental. Fang Hao stood up, adjusted his clothes, and said, Sign it, or I'll proceed with legal actions. Fang Hao, why are you forcing me? Am I forcing you? You're with that jerk, and you say I'm forcing you? You cheated, put a cuckold's hat on me, and you say I'm forcing you? Su Rou, have some decency. Can you? Please have some decency? Fang Hao also erupted, but he quickly took a deep breath to calm down, saying, I don't want to argue, I don't want to make a scene. Right now, I just want you to sign, and tomorrow we can go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to finalize the divorce. You and your lover can live together without worries, and I won't have to live with the shame of wearing a cuckold's hat. I won't sign. Su Rou suddenly realized something, she had fallen into Fang Hao's trap. She had gone to meet that person tonight, and Fang Hao unexpectedly returned home, even going to her company. It was too coincidental. Just now, she had exploded at Fang Hao, even threatening him. Wasn't this pouring oil on the fire? She had fallen into Fang Hao's trap. If she signed now, she would truly fall into Fang Hao's scheme, allowing him to succeed in the end. Why won't you sign? What are you thinking? Husband, what I said earlier was out of anger. I still love you. I don't love you anymore. Su Rou, stop saying these nauseating words. You just went to meet him, and you still say you love me. Don't you find it ridiculous? To say such words with the mouth that has been with him, don't you feel disgusted? Husband, I didn't meet anyone. I really worked overtime just now, I wasn't at the office. No need to explain to me, just sign it. Husband, I must explain clearly. I was alone outside, just now, I was with our company's chairman. I can call her and ask her to vouch for me. Su Rou? Enough. I don't want to hear you talk. If you don't sign, I will find a lawyer, and we'll proceed with litigation. In the end, we'll still get a divorce. Fang Hao turned and left, heading to the study to get a suitcase. Husband, stop. If you leave me, I'll show you that I can die. Su Rou suddenly picked up a fruit knife and placed it on her neck. Fang Hao's pupils constricted, but he said, "Is this effective? You cheated, and now you threaten me with suicide to prevent a divorce? It's unreasonable. Do you think I'll feel guilty? Impossible. After you die, I'll reveal evidence of your affair. By then, everyone will only think that your death is deserved, and you brought it upon yourself. Besides, you betrayed me. I wish for your death, it would be a relief for me. When you die, the child will still be mine." You? Su Rou was dumbfounded, realizing this tactic was useless. Moreover, from Fang Hao's resolute tone, it seemed like he truly didn't care about her life or death. She said, "The child in my belly is yours. You're heartless enough to be so ruthless? Moral blackmail? Su Rou, when you were cheating, and that jerk entered your body, why didn't you think of me?" "Husband, I didn't." "Of course, you didn't think of me. Forget it, forget it. I don't want to argue with you. Stop pretending to be pitiful in front of me." Fang Hao still approached, took away the knife, threw it in the trash, and said again, one last time, "Sign it." "I won't sign. Husband, I won't sign." "Then get ready for a lawyer's subpoena." Fang Hao, seeing his wife refusing to sign, couldn't do anything but try to leave with his suitcase. Su Rou hurriedly stopped him, not letting Fang Hao leave. She said, "Are you just going to abandon the children?" Fang Hao frowned. He could leave Su Rou and even Yue Xia, but he couldn't abandon Tian Tian. After all, Tian Tian was his biological son. He said, "The children, yes, there are children. Su Rou, you've chosen your lover and disregarded the children. Even if we divorce, the children will still be mine. Even in court, I believe the judge will support me." He pushed the suitcase into the study, then said to his wife, "Divorce is inevitable. This isn't my house, and you have a lover outside. Living together will only make me more disgusted with you. Husband, I won't divorce you. Now I want a divorce, and I don't need your agreement. In reality, you have no choice but to agree because you're terrible. It's very late, and I'm tired. I don't want to be bothered by these rotten matters anymore. I just want to sleep." Fang Hao was indeed exhausted. He had studied Xiao Ying's condition last night, read many medical books, and had a busy day. He even visited his wife's company at night, walking a long distance without a car, carrying Jia Jia. He was truly tired. He closed the study door and quickly fell asleep on the small bed. Su Rou's mind was in chaos. She had no desire to sleep and was afraid Fang Hao would leave if she truly slept. She pretended to doze off on the living room sofa. Throughout the night, she dozed off when tired, woke up after a while to make sure Fang Hao hadn't left, and then went back to light sleep. Hearing the door click, she instinctively woke up, rushed to stop Fang Hao, and said, "Don't leave. You didn't sleep all night, just to watch over me?" Fang Hao could see Su Rou had dark circles and looked terrible. He knew she hadn't rested well. He made up his mind. He couldn't sympathize now because this woman wasn't worth it. She had gone to meet her lover last night, and everything she did was laughable. He also felt sorry for himself. "Husband, don't leave. I'm going to freshen up and make breakfast." Saying this, Fang Hao pushed away Su Rou's hand, went to the bathroom to freshen up, and then busied himself in the kitchen. Before long, Jia Jia and Tian Tian woke up. Fang Hao continued to take care of the two children, helping them get dressed and so on. During breakfast, Tian Tian suddenly said to Su Rou, "Mom, I don't want a new dad, I only want this dad." He pointed at Fang Hao. Jia Jia added, "I also want this dad." Su Rou was taken aback, her face very awkward, as she looked at Fang Hao. Fang Hao didn't explain, quickly eating his breakfast. Su Rou could only say, "No new dad, only one dad." Tian Tian said, "Mom, the new dad. Eat your meal, no talking." Su Rou scolded her son with a glare, thinking he talked too much. She then said to Fang Hao, about the children, "Enough, I don't want to discuss this. Take a look at the agreement and sign it as soon as possible. I won't be coming back for lunch today. Tonight. You must come back at night, we're still a family. You must come back. We'll see." Fang Hao didn't want to return to this home, nor did he want to see this woman, Su Rou. He quickly finished breakfast, took his backpack, and left. Su Rou watched Fang Hao walk out of the community on foot and then take a taxi away. She suddenly remembered that Fang Hao no longer had a personal vehicle. She also knew that Fang Hao wouldn't accept her father's old car again. She frowned. She took out her phone, went to the room, and changed to another SIM card. She sent a message, "No matter what means you use, make sure my husband leaves the Provincial People's Hospital. Prevent him from divorcing me." Chapter 173, Center of the Whirlpool. Originally, the Monday morning meeting was scheduled, but Yang Wenjin went to the Municipal Health Bureau, so the meeting was postponed to the afternoon. However, the gynecology department had a meeting. Led by Lu Yu, many doctors' positions were rearranged, with promotions and demotions. Those connected to Li Xiaoxi were demoted, while other doctors were promoted. This week, they further implemented Fang Hao's medical management philosophy. After the meeting, Li Xiaoxi went directly to Lu Yu's office. With no one else present, she said, "Director Lu, are you trying to force me to leave early? What have I done to offend you? Just tell me, and I'll change." Lu Yu replied, "You're overthinking it. We have no grudges. Li Xiaoxi, I've heard about your operations in the maternal and child health department. Since you can handle it, why not go there sooner? Secure the position you've obtained and take a seat. Don't let dreams grow longer than the night. You're secretly mobilizing your people, I know about it. This approach is like cutting off the escape route from the bottom of the pot. You call me Director Lu, but have you ever thought about me? If you leave, taking your people with you, won't it leave me an empty shell? You're taking over the maternal and child health department, a step on the old home. Is that appropriate?" Li Xiaoxi frowned, saying, I didn't have that intention. But your actions suggest otherwise. Enough, talking more won't help. I should have retired long ago, enjoying family life without the need to worry about such matters. It's good that you leave, let President Yang and the others find a replacement as soon as possible. Lu Yu shook her head and added, Fang Hao is a young man, similar to his master in character. He's strong in his work but lacks a bit of tact in dealing with people. If you go to the maternal and child health department, you won't have much interaction with him. Let go of the past grievances. He won't be the final candidate to replace you, just a temporary transition. If you can't see through this, you need to learn more. Li Xiaoxi furrowed her brows, realizing she shouldn't retaliate against Fang Hao. Otherwise, Lu Yu could use it against her. She said, I'll try to take over the maternal and child health department as soon as possible without affecting you. Fang Hao finished his rounds and solved several difficult cases. With time still available, he returned to the office area. He saw a young woman coming out of Lu Yu's office, wearing sunglasses. She was very beautiful, and he immediately recognized her as Su Lianin. However, Su Lianin walked past Fang Hao without giving him a second glance. Entering the office, Fang Hao asked, What is she doing here? Who? Su Lianin. She said she felt uncomfortable, nauseous, and asked me to prescribe some medicine to eliminate aversion to cold. Let me see. Fang Hao returned to Lu Yu's medical system and looked at the prescribed medicine. He frowned and said, Director, she fooled you. It's not nausea, she's pregnant, exhibiting normal signs of pregnancy. What? She's pregnant? Yes. How do you know? A few days ago, I went to her house, and inadvertently, I observed her pregnancy pulse. You may care for her a lot, but don't let her take advantage of your kindness. This girl fooled me. After a moment of eye contact between Lu Yu and Fang Hao, they chose to believe Fang Hao. They went after Su Lianin. As Fang Hao took a sip of water, he walked out and saw Lu Yu leading Su Lianin back. They went directly to the B-scan area. He paused for a moment and followed, entering the backstage of the imaging room. Lu Yu personally took photos for Su Lianin and then went backstage to retrieve the results. Seeing Fang Hao there, she didn't say much. She said, normal pregnancy, 3 months along. This girl, doesn't she know she's been pregnant for 3 months? I need to talk to her. She took a few steps, turned back, and said to Fang Hao, remember to keep this confidential. I know. I'll go to the outpatient clinic. Fang Hao nodded and left. In the office, Lu Yu showed Su Lianin the color photos, pointing to the images and explaining, Girl, you really got me. You've been pregnant for 3 months, and you said you were vomiting due to stomach cold. You almost made me prescribe the wrong medicine. Didn't your mom educate you about reproductive health? I'm pregnant. For 3 months? Su Lianin was also very surprised, looking at Lu Yu in disbelief and then at the color photos, more shocked than delighted. There was no joy, only astonishment. There's no scientific basis for a mistake. Think about it, 3 months ago, did you and your boyfriend take any precautions? Do your mom know about this? 3 months ago? Su Lianin calculated the time and suddenly turned pale. 3 months ago, she attended a classmate party abroad, had a bit of alcohol, and then lost consciousness. The next day, she woke up feeling something was wrong, as if she had been intimate, but she wasn't sure. If she was truly pregnant, it should be from that party. Oh my God, who could it be? What's wrong? Don't you know who the father of the child is? Seeing Su Lianin's pale face, Liu had a bad feeling. Aunt Lu, please don't tell my mom, okay? No. At this time, you are very vulnerable, with no adults to make decisions for you. You don't understand the severity. As a mother who has experienced having a pregnant child, your mom will support you at any time. Liu didn't listen to Su Lianin. She calmed Su Lianin's emotions, then gave her some advice. Watching Su Lianin leave, Liu pondered, Su Jia, your girl is not as innocent as she seems. Liu went to the outpatient clinic again. She saw many patients lined up for Fang Hao's clinic, and she asked the reception desk. Some patients wanted to change to another doctor, but there were only 3 available. The rest chose to continue seeing Fang Hao. She also requested that there must be a nurse accompanying Fang Hao, not allowing him to be alone with female patients to prevent any potential issues like harassment. She was protecting Fang Hao. In terms of medical skills, she believed in Fang Hao's professional ability, but she was concerned about his personality. After a brief inspection, she received a call from Yang Wenjin and went to the dean's office. Liu, let me tell you something. Who did Fang Hao offend? Yang Wenjin asked directly, looking serious. Liu replied, I don't know. He hasn't offended anyone. The patients he treats are fine, and the feedback is excellent. Old Yang, why are you saying this? Is there any rumor going around? Somebody asked me to dismiss Fang Hao, and someone is even willing to compensate. I just want to know, if Fang Hao really has a problem, then let him go. Old Yang, don't do this. Fang Hao is currently treating Qiao Yiheng. If you dismiss Fang Hao and delay Qiao Yiheng's treatment, you won't be able to bear the responsibility. Qiao Yiheng? How is Fang Hao related to Qiao Yiheng? Yang Wenjin was surprised. Qiao Yiheng was a significant figure, and even she wouldn't want to offend him. Liu briefly explained the connection between Fang Hao and Qiao Yiheng due to Tang Wan's influence. She urged Yang Wenjin to withstand the pressure from above and not to take any action against Fang Hao. Fang Hao had just taken over the medical management of the gynecology department, and firing him now would be a sudden and drastic change, making them a laughingstock. Chapter 174, Man, sortiert. Lao Yang, who asked you to dismiss Fang Hao? Liu asked directly, while also pondering if Fang Hao had offended someone. It's Lao Yang. I met her during the meeting just now, and she suggested I dismiss Fang Hao. Lao Yang? Liang Zhongyuan. Fang Hao offended this old woman? Or is there another reason? She said that men shouldn't lead the gynecology department. Gynecology is a woman's domain, and having a man swagger in is considered inappropriate. Gender equality? This doesn't make sense. Liang Zhongyuan wants to bring the conflict to our provincial people's hospital. She shouldn't overextend her reach. Besides, there are male doctors in gynecology, and the maternal and child health department also has many male doctors. Lao Yang, don't listen to Liang Zhongyuan. Oh, forget about Liang Zhongyuan for now. There's another urgent matter. The provincial and municipal authorities want the restructuring to be completed before the new year. The gynecology department, especially Li Xiaoxi's side, will be the first to undergo changes. She will have a discussion with organizational representatives in the next few days, and shortly after, she will officially leave. Fang Hao is not eligible to be the director, and you stepping down means a new director will be parachuted in. Your job is to prepare for the transition. Liu furrowed her brows and asked, Who? Any rumors? No. After chatting a bit more, Liu returned to the gynecology department. She went to find Fang Hao but saw he was still busy, so she didn't disturb him. Back in her office, she checked Fang Hao and other doctors' clinic schedules. She noticed that Fang Hao arrived late, but he had the highest number of patients. Not bad efficiency. Competent doctors excel in any position. Liu was pleased. At noon, after Fang Hao finished seeing the last patient, he returned to the office and found Liu waiting for him. Liu asked Fang Hao to close the door and then conveyed the dean's message. She asked, Fang Hao, did you offend someone? Do you know Liang Zhongyuan? Fang Hao, upon hearing that someone wanted to dismiss him through Yang Wenjin, felt angry, upset, and somewhat pathetic. He felt like a small, insignificant person being manipulated. With a serious expression, he replied, "It might be my parents." "Oh, director, there's something I need to confess to you. My wife wants a divorce." "Divorce? Why?" Liu was shocked. I'm really useless. In these 4 years, I haven't achieved anything in my career. My wife comes from a much better family background, and she has better options outside. So, divorce is inevitable. Fang Hao spoke frankly. Fang Hao, don't think like that. We are doctors, and medical knowledge is not innate, it requires accumulation and experience. In these 4 years, you have quietly accumulated and acquired skills that most doctors don't have. Your achievements will come soon. Su Buiyuan and Zhoufan can't see your strengths, they are blind. If you get divorced, with your qualities, remarrying won't be difficult. I can even introduce you to someone not inferior to your current wife. Well, director, I thought you would advise me not to divorce. Fang Hao smiled bitterly, not expecting Liu to also be skeptical about his relationship with Su Rou. Or perhaps, Liu was not optimistic about any marriage without matching backgrounds. Returning to the main topic, he said, "The dean and my father-in-law are connected, and they will surely be willing to dismiss me. Is there no room for reversal? I just took the position of associate director for a few days, and now I have to leave? It won't be that drastic. Just appointed as associate director, and you haven't made any mistakes, so there's no way they'll dismiss you. However, after Li Xiaoxi leaves, a new director will be parachuted in at any time. You should be mentally prepared for that. Actually, I intended to have you promoted, but I didn't expect Li Xiaoxi to leave earlier, leaving you with insufficient time. In reality, the higher-ups are accelerating the hospital's restructuring, and each department will follow suit. As the ruler changes, so do the ministers. I understand this principle. When the time comes, I'll cooperate with the new director's work. If it doesn't work out, or if I can't cooperate, I can always join Director Lu Jing." Fang Hao smiled bitterly, circled around, but eventually had to go back and cling tightly to Lu Jing's thigh. After chatting for a few moments and concluding the conversation, he walked out of the hospital. When he saw his wife's car outside the entrance, he hesitated. In the past, he would have been happy for his wife to pick him up, but now he felt repulsed. He turned back and signaled Tang Qi to drive into the underground parking lot. Tang Qi didn't think much of it, seeing Fang Hao looking tired, he assumed it was natural to pick him up. About 20 minutes after he left, Lu Yu and Lu Jing finished their meal at the cafeteria and were heading towards the dormitory area. "Lu Auntie, have you seen Fang Hao?" Su Rou chased after them from behind, asking. "No, is he not in the dormitory?" Lu Yu's expression turned cold. "No, I called him, but his phone is switched off. In that case, I don't know." Lu Yu didn't say much and walked away with Lu Jing. After walking a distance, seeing Su Rou heading towards the main gate, Lu Yu commented, "I didn't expect this little girl to have a human face but a beastly heart, she's not a good person." Lu Jing was surprised and asked, "Auntie, I rarely see you use such evaluations. Why is that?" "This little girl wants to divorce Fang Hao, looks down on him, and has found someone better outside. Fang Hao saved her mother Zhoufan, and now she wants a divorce. Isn't that a beastly heart? Also, Yang Wenjin just contacted me, saying someone wanted her to dismiss Fang Hao. It's undoubtedly instigated by Su Buiyuan. Yang Wenjin also mentioned that Zhoufan agreed to Fang Hao and Su Rou's divorce. This whole family is ungrateful." What about Fang Hao? How is he doing? What else can he do? Swallow the bitterness and move forward. He's such a good young man, some people just don't appreciate it. When Fang Hao comes to work, let him find me, and I'll talk to him. Lu Jing thought of something for a moment. Fang Hao had been too hardworking recently, not just to improve his medical skills but seemingly to torture himself. He must be deeply hurt by emotional issues, so he used intense study and work to dilute the emotional pain. Men, it's tough. Lu Yu said, "You should talk to him and have Zhang Jun introduce him to someone new. Healing a man's emotional trauma is best done by helping him quickly enter into another relationship. From the embrace of one woman to another, he'll soon emerge from the shadows." Do you think Fang Hao is that kind of person? If he were a playboy, given his looks, countless women would have thrown themselves at him. Wait a minute, he might have already found a replacement. Oh, what target? He wants to buy a house at Tianji Peak. At first, I thought he was joking, setting such a high-end goal. But now I realize he's determined. He wants success and to stand out. I suggested he consult with Zhang Jun. I don't know how their discussion went, but I'll ask Zhang Jun later to see if he can help Fang Hao. Do you think he can really achieve it? I don't know, we don't fully understand his capabilities. Chapter 175, Indulgence Beyond Measure. Fang Hao continued treating Qiao Yiheng, first examining his pulse, reviewing the test results, and then determining the treatment plan, followed by routine acupuncture. Dr. Fang Hao, I heard that you like the calligraphy and painting of Zhang Lingtian. I can help you acquire a couple of pieces. After Fang Hao finished acupuncture, Qiao Yiheng initiated a casual conversation. It's not that I like them. In fact, I don't appreciate calligraphy and painting. It's someone I know, a kind of intermediary. He mentioned that Zhang Lingtian's artworks are valuable, so I mentioned it casually. As for me, I have no artistic cells whatsoever. Fang Hao firmly rejected. If he accepted the paintings, the favor he did by treating Qiao Yiheng would be nullified. Currently facing financial difficulties, he would prefer monetary assistance over questionable items tied to his wife's lover. Tang Qi added, "That's right, Grandpa. Dr. Fang Hao's residence is filled with medical books only." Qiao Yiheng said, "Dr. Fang Hao, you are very young, not even 30 yet, and you already possess such medical skills. Constantly researching, your medical abilities will become even better. Your future is limitless." "Grandpa, you flatter me." Fang Hao thought, what future does he have? He might be fired from the hospital soon. Even if not fired, using the hospital's rules, he could be transferred to an unpopular department. He didn't want to stay any longer and was considering leaving the hospital. After acupuncture, Fang Hao left and didn't join Tang Qi for lunch. Instead, he had Tang Qi directly take him back to the hospital. Tang Qi admired Zhang Lingtian and, as Fang Hao was investigating him, it was better to minimize contact with Tang Qi. In the afternoon, Yang Wenjin held a meeting for department heads. Although Fang Hao held the position of associate director, he was currently in charge of medical affairs in the gynecology department, so he attended the meeting. Yang Wenjin first conveyed the spirit of the morning meeting, urging each department to study the provincial, municipal, and central guidelines, emphasizing ideological and organizational construction, among other things. Near the end of the meeting, she mentioned the early change of leadership. She would step down, and a new dean would build a new leadership team. During this period, she would not approve major procurements, emphasizing the need for a smooth transition. She looked at Fang Hao and said, "Your gynecology department will be the first to experience the change. Regardless of who the new dean is, you all must cooperate with the work." This was a clear indication to Fang Hao that he wouldn't be the head of the gynecology department. Fang Hao replied, "Yes, we will cooperate with the work." After the meeting, Yang Wenjin asked Zhou Long to stay, and the others dispersed. Yang Wenjin directly told Zhou Long, "I have already recommended you to the higher-ups. I've done everything I can for you. The rest depends on how hard you work." Zhou Long was overjoyed, saying, "Director Yang, with your recommendation, my chances of success will greatly increase." Yang Wenjin said, "The project you lead on myasthenia gravis, how is it progressing?" Zhou Long replied, "It's still under treatment." Yang Wenjin said, "This won't do. You need to produce results quickly. If this project takes off, you'll be in a very secure position. Many eyes are watching the provincial people's hospital." "Yes, I will expedite the treatment process." Over there, Lu Jing and Fang Hao walked out of the elevator and entered the office. Fang Hao said, "I haven't been to this office for many days. I really miss it." Lu Jing, however, said, "No idle talk. I heard from Aunt that you want a divorce. Why? Can't it be salvaged?" As Lu Jing was the niece of Lu Yu, Fang Hao wasn't surprised. He smiled confidently and said, "Director, since you're a woman, can I ask you a question first?" "Go ahead." When a woman has someone she fancies outside, do you think she will turn back? To what extent is this fancying? Everything you can think of, and even things you can't. If Suro, well, I won't advise you to reconcile because once a woman accepts another man, it's basically falling in love with him. Fang Hao, I won't say much more. After all, you're an adult. I'll just say one thing, I support you, no matter what. If you need anything, just ask. Thank you, Director. I can handle my issues. Fang Hao left. As he walked towards the gynecology department, he was stopped by someone, Yue Xia. Fang Hao, let's chat for a moment. Yue Xia called out to Fang Hao, but he ignored her and walked past her. Yue Xia hurriedly caught up, saying, Fang Hao, I called you, why are you so rude? I don't know you. If you need medical attention, go register. If you don't understand, go to the nurse's station for guidance. Fang Hao said, seeing Yue Xia reminded him of his wife due to their similar body types. While Yue Xia's appearance was clearly a cover for his wife's affair, it seemed to be part of a group effort. Body type? He stopped, carefully observing Yue Xia. He noticed a similarity in her body type to the statue in Zhang Lingtian's courtyard at Tianji Peak. Su Lianin? A flash of insight struck him. Su Lianin's body type resembled the statue and somewhat resembled Yue Xia. He didn't know why Su Lianin came to mind, perhaps she admired Zhang Lingtian as well. What if Zhang Lingtian had more than one woman? He felt an electric shock, as if he had grasped something but couldn't fully comprehend it. You're a doctor, can you take a look at a minor issue for me? Is that okay? What's wrong with you? Pregnant? Fang Hao retorted. Pregnant? No, not pregnant. I'm just feeling physically exhausted. Meng Yu mentioned that you're good at acupuncture. I want you to help me relax with some acupuncture. Oh, I see you're sleep deprived and indulging excessively. Go back and get some rest. I have a wife, I won't be sleeping with someone like you. You? Yue Xia was shocked by Fang Hao's mention of excessive indulgence. She felt a sudden unease and was further displeased by Fang Hao's disdainful gaze. Ignoring Yue Xia, Fang Hao entered the gynecology building. However, he suddenly remembered something. He took out a cigarette, moved to the shade of a tree, lit the cigarette, and then made another call, this time to Jin Shaojian. Brother Hao, why are you looking for me? I'm in class right now. Find a place where you can talk, call me back. It's urgent. Fang Hao hung up and, in a few minutes, Jin Shaojian called back. Brother Hao, where should I go? What's so urgent? Listen carefully. There's an opportunity now that can earn you the favor of your old mother and make your sister unable to hold her head high. Your family status will rise sharply. If you miss this chance, you'll truly have nothing. Brother Hao, your words sound unsettling. Do you believe me? Ido. What's this opportunity? For now, stop attending class. Go find a private detective or handle it yourself. Follow your sister and see who she's in contact with, especially men. This is crucial. Don't expose yourself. Follow my sister? What's the reason? Just follow her for now. Tomorrow, we'll meet when we have time, and I'll tell you the reason. This is your only chance, don't mess it up. Fang Hao hung up, thinking about Su Lianin being pregnant. If the man was Zhang Lingtian, it would be intriguing. Even though he wasn't sure why Su Lianin came to mind, perhaps she liked the painting by Zhang Lingtian? Regardless of its truth, it was a good opportunity for Jin Shaojian.